It expires this week. The NFL specialist, me, Joe Duffy. I've got my entire season package. College and pro football, every pre, regular, and postseason game. College and pro, just $1,499. You just want to bet the NFL? That's $999. Every pick in college and pro, or every pick in pro football. It's all at offshoreinsiders.com. www.offshoreinsiders.com. From the NFL specialist, me, Joe Duffy. Week 1 NFL injuries for the preseason 2013. These links were compiled in no small part thanks to sportsbookintel.com, sportsbookintel.com. It's the Ravens and the Buccaneers. Baltimore Ravens tight end Ed Dickson will be out for approximately 2 weeks due to a slight hamstring tear. Dickson, who suffered the injury during Sunday's practice, is the team's #1 tight end after Dennis Pitta was lost for the season with a hip injury sustained during training camp. The 25-year-old Dickson caught 21 passes for 225 yards for Baltimore a year ago. The source for that is the Sports Network. Continuing with our blogcast, the Bengals and the Falcons. Wide receiver A.J. Green will not make the trip for the Cincinnati Bengals preseason opener. He caught 97 passes last year with 11 touchdowns. Some games of Friday. Cardinals and the Packers. The Green Bay Packers may be forced to shuffle their renovated offensive line after starting left tackle Brian Bugala reportedly suffered a season-ending knee injury. The Associated Press is the source for that. At offshoreinsiders.com, on the left-hand rail, click on the Twitter link to get late-breaking news as game time approaches. Now, Green Bay added depth at running back, and our second-round draft pick Eddie Lacy of Alabama and fourth-round pick Jonathan Franklin out of UCLA, as they were really lacking running back depth. They've shared rep with the two returners from last season, Alex Green and James Starks. Two of their top three cornerbacks, Tremaine Williams and Casey Hayward, remain sidelined. The source for that is ESPN. Now, the Cardinals were without their top two running backs as training camp resumed on Monday following a day off of the players. Rashard Mendenhall missed his third straight practice with an injury. Also, Ryan Williams remained sidelined with a sore knee. Three other starters, guard Darren College, inside linebacker Carlos Dansby, and nose tackle Dan Williams also missed some practice time. Those who sat out Monday's practice could miss Friday's opener as well. And here is a quote from Bruce Arians. She says, "A bunch of these guys will be iffy for the ball game, but they're getting better. We'll err on the side of caution." Now, asked how much the starters would play against the Packers, Arians said, "We're shooting for 15 plays. We'll see how it goes, how far one side of the ball or other goes into the second quarter." He said, "We'll just see how it plays out and how we're playing. There are so many young guys that need to be evaluated," he said. The source for that is the AP. Now, the Chiefs and the Saints. Starter Marcus Colston has yet to practice this camp. Joe Morgan, who appeared to have the lead for the number 3 receiver spot, went down with an unspecified injury in a scrimmage on Saturday. Source for that is ESPN. Continuing with our gambling blogcast, let's take a look at the Jets and Detroit. Wide receiver Santonio Holmes is out. They're very thin at running back as well. The sports betting Twitter feed, Offshore Insider, the source for that. Rams and the Browns, running back Trent Richardson is questionable for the Rams. A lot of sources for that, but we will update that on our Twitter feed. Cowboys and the Raiders, Tony Romo expects to make his preseason debut Friday against Oakland. Remember, the Cowboys, one of two teams with a game under their belt. Our source for that, ESPN Dallas. The Broncos and the 49ers, Joel Dreesen, who led the Broncos tight ends last season with 863 snaps, or 75.5% of the offensive plays, likely will miss the entire preseason. ESPN is our source for that. San Francisco 49ers linebacker Patrick Willis is out. The 28-year-old Willis is 6-time Pro Bowl choice and a 6-time Associated Press All-Pro selection in his 6 NFL seasons. Source for that, ESPN. We'll have more look at the later games on the weekend as the week goes on another edition of our primer and famed preseason clipboard, the blogcast. Again, for the winning picks on these games each and every day, it's offshoreinsiders.com.